Castle Siege is almost here. That's why I'm here to tell you what I know about the top 5 most important classes for large-scale PvP in Throne and Liberty. Before I start this video, I'm going to tell you a bit about my resume. I'm one of the first week players of Throne, and I've basically been going to every conflict boss that I can get into with my guild and other 3 alliances every day. We were first getting destroyed by the other alliances, but we managed to climb our way to the top through gathering experience on how to properly fight as a team. When the siege day finally comes, we are going to be the ones defending the castle from the horde of the entire server. So I should know a thing or two about what classes are best for large-scale PvP. With that, let's start the video. With all of the 21 weapon combos in Throne and Liberty, my top 5 is going to be the SNS Greatsword. The Crusader class is considered to be one of the tankiest class in the game. When they're put with a good healer, they could be a real pest to deal with. But what's skyrocketing them to the top 5 is their damage-dealing potential. If there are any squishy that is on the way of a Crusader, they would instantly get deleted with its Greatsword. It's one of the classes that absolutely pisses me off because of how someone can be so tanky and deal big damage at the same time. My top 4 is going to be our Longbow Staff. The Liberator whole kit focuses on big damage to big clumps of enemies. This class is going to be competing for the top on the kill ranking along with the crossbow dagger users. Their main ability, called Flash Wave, is going to be beneficial for large-scale combat since this does big AoE damage with a bit of healing for your alliance. Imagine 20 flash waves coming out the face of the enemies in tight spots. It would be any bow user's wet dream. Follow that up with the big AoE damage that staff could do to finish up their kills, and you got the biggest damage dealer in the game. Our top 3 is going to be the crossbow dagger, or as people like to call them, bombers. The name that is given by the community is basically what the bomber does. They go in the back line of the enemies and look for an angle where they could bomb a huge clump of squishies. They're usually the ones that are competing at the top rankings because of how much damage they dish out. But the negative side of this is that usually, if you manage to use a stun or any CC on them, they would basically become useless and would get burned by all of the DPS that he tried to kill. Regardless, their combo is pretty easy to pull off, and if they're not interrupted, they're going to make a huge dent on your forces. That is why we DPS players always keep an eye on bombers to hopefully get a Q block off so we don't get burned. Our top 2 is going to be the staff wand users. You can't go to a battle without a healer. That is just the basics of an MMO. Well, you can, but you're going to die a lot if you don't have one. A wand user is basically the lifeline of your alliance. Without them healing, everyone would just be dropping like dead ants. The most dedicated healer class in the game is going to be using a staff wand combo, or simply the Invocator class. The Invocator could provide big healings using the wand, but this consumes their mana really quickly. And if you're healing your party, not to mention outside healing in the horde of your alliance, you would need every mana that you can get. The staff can provide mana regeneration to your wand and some support skills. With this, the mana problem of the wand could be fixed, and this would make them the mega support in the battlefield. And finally, before we go to our top 1, leave a like if you like content like this. With that, our top 1 is going to be the SNS Wand, also known as the Templar. Imagine you're hitting a Crusader and you're finally seeing the light of being able to take them down, then they suddenly just start healing themselves back to full health. This is the power of an SNS wand. Though they don't do much damage, they have abilities like Sleep that could set up a disaster for your enemy if a big chunk of them are hit, meaning that you can't just ignore them when you're fighting against this class. You would need coordinated attacks and CC with your guildmates to take them down swiftly. That's it with my top 5 most important classes for large-scale PvP in Throne and Liberty. Keep in mind that this list is just my opinion based on my experience. What about you? What's your tier list for large-scale combat in Throne and Liberty? Tell me in the comments. With that, see you on the next Throne and Liberty video.